This is the first time I played a modern Castlevania game. Well, modern maybe not, but one of the newer titles from start to end. The last time I played was the SNES playing Super Castlevania and Dracula X, and the NES with Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. I've played also, hack and homebrew versions of the older games as well. I've also dipped my toes into Castlevania 64 and some of the handheld versions like Circle of the Moon and Aria of Sorrow. I did play, back in the day, the PS2 Curse of Darkness and Lament of Innocence, but I just couldn't get it into them at the time. But I'm going back now, and I will enjoy them. For transparency's sake, I did use Game Genie codes on the emulator, and a walkthrough map, as I wanted to see what the game had to offer, but I can see myself going back and toughing it out the original way. I didn't use a step-by-step walkthrough. I just wanted the map because, yes, you could use a step-by-step walkthrough, but you don't really need it. Just have a map and your logic will help you, and the clues will help you figure out what you need to do next. And it helped me figure out all the little areas and small things I might have missed to not get a good playthrough. Released on October 12, 1997 by Konami, it was Konami's first dip into PlayStation with a Castlevania title. The game starts at the end of Castlevania Rondo of Blood for the TurboGrafx, following Richter Belmont's defeat of Dracula. The following 4 years after is where you pick up as Alucard, which is Dracula spelled backwards, and arrive at the castle as he battles through the castle and meets Maria Renard, a vampire hunter who fought with Belmont and is now looking for her companion, Richter, who is under the control of Dracula. With the spell broken and Dracula released, Alucard must fight Dracula. The ending depends on how much of the castle you explored, and there are 4 endings. Castlevania Symphony and Night is considered to be the pinnacle of PlayStation gaming. It is often scored very high and looked at very fondly by gamers of old and new alike. Though it is a vast departure from the series tradition of having a Belmont be the lead character, it is still a fondly looked at game. The whole Castlevania series is 28 years old, so there's a lot of games and reboots across systems in that time span. And even though the price to buy may be a bit high for various versions, I think the cheapest version I saw was about $31 to about $400, even then, this is a must-play, and I will definitely be getting a physical edition for this when I get some money. The game was brought forward to a new era on the PS3 and Xbox 360, as well as the PSP. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the future it comes to a current or future consoles, although this is Konami, so who knows what they're doing over there. Let's hope whatever game they release, or if they ever bring out another Castlevania title, it doesn't do disrespect to what we all know and love. So I love the graphics here. This is such my era of games, and I've said it in previous reviews before, and I'll keep saying it. I love this whole 8 and 16-bit graphics era. There's plenty of games trying to emulate it now. Kathy Rain, Titan Souls, Dead Cells comes to the top of my mind. And there's most of the games, I will not say all of them, but most of the games just aged so well. Yes, this is a PS1 game, but they kept the awesome graphics from the series and mixed in the little 3D animated cutscenes. Another game that did that really well is Persona 2 or Persona Revelations, I can't remember what it's called. It doesn't look dated, not even today. It looks classic, but not bad classic, if you know what I mean. Even today, like I said, we see so many games trying to emulate that style. I really don't think this could have been done any other way that it would have felt like a true Castlevania game and kept the series, heart into it. I played some of the 3D Castlevania games and it really feels out of place, although I do enjoy them, like Curse of Darkness and Lament of Innocence. Each area in the game has a feel to it, and there's so much variety, even from screen to screen in the same area, that there's always something new to look at, and wandering around the castle never got old. It was easy to just get lost in how everything feels and flows. I would say that having a larger map on hand wouldn't hurt. The in-game map is there and easy to read, but a map with the location names and locations of some of the items you would definitely miss if you don't know where they are would be a benefit to you. And when the castle does its whole flip its top and turn upside down, it is nice to have a map. Everything is so detailed. Alucard, no matter where in his animation cycle, looks awesome. The bosses are large and intimidating. Everything has a unique look to it. There's just so much there, from the caverns beast to the succubus fight. Everything and everyone is unique. Everything feels so fluid. It's really good to jump, to move, to attack. The animations are so fluid and easy. It's easy to forget that it's a 22-year-old game now. I can see how pro players just fly through this game with a sense of speed, and you can just hit the jumps and hit the attacks at the right time, and you glide like butter across the screen. Hitboxes are spot on, and everything is just a joy to play and look at. Combat consists of 2 buttons, a left hand and a right hand, that can hold either 2 swords, or a short sword and shield, or a 2-handed weapon, which are the biggest difference between Alucard and the whip-wielding Belmont clan of old. You can aim forward, back, diagonally down in either direction. Holding the D-pad and pushing square lets you use a throwable that you can pick up from knives, potions, battle axes, and a few others that I didn't really use. I think I stuck primarily to knives and battle axes. There's also a mist, bat, and wolf form that you can take on. Mist is used to pass through areas like locked doors or locked gates that you may not have been able to pass through as Alucard. And the wolf form and the bat form are pretty similar. The bat form used to fly to get to areas you can't reach any other way, and the wolf form is probably the fastest way to travel around if you can get it up to speed and running. I will say the wolf form and the bat form do feel a little clunky, and maybe that's why I didn't use the wolf form a lot. I did use the bat form a lot to fly and explore the castle and just move on through. As the son of Dracula, Alucard also gets to enlist the help of familiars like fairies, bats, a sword along the way. You pick up their cards actually, and as you go through, you can use the familiars and they will gain XP and level as you do as well. You also have your basic movement controls and a little back shuffle that helps you if you want to speed along. It's quite useful actually. The controls feel like really amazing here. I can't get over how awesome the controls are. So they're super responsive and tactile. The jump controls are amazing. It's so fluid without being like weird, floaty, and laggy, kind of like Bubsy and Bubsy 2. Alucard in his animal forms again is the only clunky feeling in the control aspect. Konami really took their time with this game. What happened to them? This game is what I'd like to say comfortably difficult for the first half at least. Yes, I did use codes in a map, but I know what I was trying to get through with this playthrough. But once you get to that second half, the castle's no joke, but it is leveled to what they're expecting your skill to be. Man, the soundtrack is just awesome here. Every area has a unique soundtrack to it, and it goes well with the area. Like in the chapel area, it's solemn, almost haunting. The library is almost a regal French sound. I love the genres covered in the soundtrack as well, from thrash metal, techno, goth, jazz, rock. There's really a bit of everything thrown in here. It gives the game a grander feel. The music really stays true to like a Baroque or French royalty feel, but not in an alienating sense and not in an overtly like in-your-face sense either. The voice acting is just this side of cheesy.
So, we meet again, Alucard.
It seems so.
As friendly as ever, I see. It's strange. This castle is different than I remember it.
And good cheesy, I mean. Nothing will ever beat Resident Evil 1's awful, beautiful voice acting, but this has some moments where it's just like, yes. You know, you just get that sense of like, yes, it's so bad it's good. Yeah, for me, that's where it sits. There's a lot of moments in this game, a lot of memorable moments, and it just made me so happy voice acting every time I heard it come on. And it doesn't there isn't like 10-minute cutscenes in it either, so when the voice acting comes on or when you get a cutscene like that, it's so enjoyable because it's not there very long. This game doesn't overstay its welcome with trying to bog you down with dialogue and all this stuff. Castlevania Symphony of the Night is a non-linear RPG. There's leveling that's done by killing literally everything you come across. There's magic, special moves, equipment, and a whole host of various monsters and environments to explore through. There's a lot to this game, and a lot of secrets and hidden places and objects that you can easily miss if you don't spend the time to search, or even if you do spend the time and search, you can miss, because they're tucked away somewhere that you thought you went but you didn't go. I finished this game in 12 hours and 22 minutes at 196.4%. I don't know what I missed to not get that 200%, so I don't know what's going on there. I happened to get 2 endings in one run. The first was the good ending, because I forgot to go see Maria before going to Richter, which you have to go see Maria first. And the second was the best ending, which is finishing with over 190%, or 195%, so I got 196, and going to see Maria, and that in the end is where Maria follows Alucard, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Castlevania, Rondo of Blood, and Symphony of the Night are often thought to be the best entries in the series, along with the original. I will admit the weakest thing about the game is the story, but it's a very high weak point, if you know what I mean. It doesn't detract anything away from the experience to me, it just isn't a very strong story. It's just a typical Castlevania story, and it's just like, okay, you could take it or leave it. But the atmosphere, and the general grandeur of everything, else negates any negatives that I have in that concern, and it's just beautiful, like, I can't get over it. Everything's clean and organized and looks and feels good without being cluttered. It tells you everything you need to know in a few screens. Everything's sorted well, and it doesn't take forever flipping through screens and menus and diving deep to get what you want and head back into the action. For me, this ranks up there with the best PlayStation titles of all time. Like I said when I started this, I completely missed this one. I played, the older games, the N64 and the PS2 titles, so I came into this with a fresh set of eyes. Is it the best game on PS1? I can say everybody has a different opinion, and for me, no, it's not. My favorite games and the best games to me are like Gran Turismo and Medal of Honor, but I was playing those at the time. Now as an adult, I can see that this game is a masterpiece, and I know why this series is so loved, and this specific game, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, is looked on so fondly all these years later. I love this game. It is probably the best game I have played this year. Castlevania Symphony of the Night is a masterpiece of gaming. Everything just feels so right and so good when you play it.